G'day Spurs fans, Paul Hotspur hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. I'm getting more and more excited as each day passes for the North London derby. I can't wait, I'm not nervous because in my mind I think we're going to smash them. I was on Chris Cowling's, by the way. Chris Cowling was good enough to have me on his podcast this morning, and I had a lovely old time, set me up for a good day. I like Chris, he's a good guy, and he was very good because it was kind of like an interview, but it wasn't like, what's your favourite colour, what's your favourite band, where did you grow up? It was, he was adapting and listening, and you can't ask for more than that. So go and check that out. We had a good old chat about all sorts of stuff, and hopefully spread a little bit of happy clappiness around the place, I'll just put it that way. He did talk about the North London derby, and which is why I'm not nervous about it at all. And the news is coming out of the camp that it looks like Odegaard's running around on crutches. Declan Rice, his suspension was upheld by a panel of, 5 million referees or something like that. To which Gary Lineker said, ridiculous. Well, Gary, I put it to you, you know bugger all about football, mate, because there's a rule where you can't kick your ball away if it's a free kick. And look, I know it might be a small infringement, and hey, do I look like the kind of guy that likes rules? But I don't mind that rule. I don't mind any rule that kind of cuts crap out of football, dumb stuff, time wasting. I think the referees should be harder on dissent. Look, it's a fact of life. Sometimes you're going to get a referee that's a bit of a dickhead in a game. That's just the way it is, man. I'm sure managers get the chance to provide feedback on referees after the game. That's how I'd measure it, see what people involved in the game think of a ref. So I think it's all fair. If it happened to a Spurs player, would I have a different opinion? I just think the player would be dumb. Like I've been quite critical of some of our players. Not quite critical, I've mentioned it. James Maddison, he seems to have toned it down a bit this year, but when he starts gobbing off at the referee, you watch my watch-alongs, every time he does it, I'm saying just shut your mouth, just stop. Because last season there'd be a couple of lazy yellows. Now it didn't lead to suspensions or anything like that, but I just think it's pointless. I really do. And Basuma last year. Sorry, did a silly load of crap, soft yellow last year, and I just don't like that sort of stuff. And that all started, I think, from the Alex Ferguson years at Manchester United, and I think the rationale for getting up the referee it's not to get the referee to change their mind about that decision, but it's to be in the back of their mind for the next decision, hoping that maybe they'd balance it up. And I remember Dickie Bird, the old cricket umpire. I read his autobiography years ago, and something that stuck out in it, it's a great book by the way, was that he said that sometimes as an umpire, you as soon as you've done it, you've made a decision, you kind of know you've got it wrong. You just know, I didn't get that one right. And he said the worst thing you can do is try and balance it up, because then if you balance it up, you've made 2 bad decisions, not 1. So another legacy from Alex Ferguson, who, in terms of trophies and whatnot, successful manager. It's personally something I don't know, man. It didn't ring my bell, but that's just a personal thing. I think I'm more of a Brian Clough kind of guy. I think he was great. Oh, actually, let's go the whole hog. Keith Birkinshaw, and now we've got Ange Postecoglou. And I'm really looking forward to this North London derby. It's not just the fact that Arsenal are under strength, and I hope people don't use that as an excuse when we beat them, not 1, 2, 3, but 4-0 on the weekend. It was only Arsenal being weak. It's the team you got, man. I'm hearing all the time that Arsenal have got the squad, they've got the depth. Tottenham don't have the depth, we haven't invested. Well, let's see how we go with that. Let's see how we go, because not many people were cutting us slack when we had like loads of injuries and suspensions and AFCON and AFC last year. AFC, is it? Asian Cup. Last year. And to some extent, rightly so, you know. That's the team, that's the squad, that's the club. So if Arsenal can't turn it on by a couple of their players being out, no excuse, man, no excuse. It's just going to be lily white domination over those Gooner scum all day long. And I'm just wondering what Arteta is going to do, because he's going nuts, man. He's going absolutely crazy. He's pulling at straws. He's pulling at straws, picking at, I don't know, doing something silly. That's what he's doing, his old Lego head. Because we all saw the clip of him giving the motivational team talk about the time, you know, it's quite a sad story really, about, you know, childhood illness and all that, and, you know, to get the players fired up. But I think it was like before a game against Norwich, Arteta, little tip, man, that's one you keep in your back pocket for like Champions League final or something, you know, something like that, not Norwich. And then after his last year's off-season antics of swallowing meat straight from the hand of Salt Bay, $10,000, keep buying your season ticket, Arsenal fans, you know where your money's going. It's going to worthwhile causes like paying $10,000 for a steak. I mean, I know there's a cost of living crisis, but I think there's a bit of a markup in that, isn't there? And I think it was David, like, I haven't checked into this myself, I'm going to have to do it. Maybe I should have done my research. I think it was David Harris that was telling me this, the Irish Hotspur, that he did some sort of team talk with Arsenal in off-season and got a pickpocket, like a professional magician-y pickpocket, to go around and pick their pockets and then show them at the end of the evening, hey, look, here's your wallet, here's your watch, here's your underpants, you know, here's your bra, all that sort of stuff. And like, oh, see, you've got to always be aware. And well, he's done that now, hasn't he? What's he going to pull out for the North London derby? I mean, there's no Paul Daniels. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if these people are still alive. But like Hans Moretti, remember Hans Moretti? Hans Moretti, get him in, Arteta. You know, put him in a cardboard box, stick it through with sticks, and see if they come out at the other end all whole as bowlers. And it just looks to me that all these things that Arteta is doing is just increasing my opinion, which doesn't take much, of him being a complete fraud. So he's actually sinking now as low as crappy corporate team building shite. That's what he's doing. You know, the sort of things where you go off in a field and you have to build a bridge out of, I don't know, grass and egg boxes, and what have you learnt from today? Fuck all. He's doing that. In fact, I remember a team building thing once where, you know, it was all about trust. Oh, trust. Okay, Paul, you stand there and fall backwards. So you stand there and fall backwards and everyone catches you. What a surprise, eh? So, Paul, what did you learn about trust? Well, I learned that they're not going to let me smack my head open on concrete in front of witnesses, but that doesn't mean to say I'm leaving my wallet on my desk and going off for lunch. So, you know, corporate team building, it's absolute arse, man. I've been involved with a fair bit. God, 10 years free of the corporate world, and it still gives me PTSD, all that corporate stuff. But that's what Arteta seems to be doing at Arsenal. And the problem is you're drawing false metaphors and false analogies. Like, okay, a theatrical pickpocket who can do anyone, even if they're paying attention. What's that got to do with football, man? What's that got to do with football? How is that going to stop an Arsenal player being mugged by, I don't know, Cudi Romero? You know, check your pockets, mate. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's all that arse is just an instant. It's just like an instant dopamine hit. It makes you feel good in the moment. You know, it's like people who, no, I won't go into that. It's like a dopamine hit, and afterwards, it doesn't encourage a change of behaviour, a change of action, increased belief. It's just a brief moment of piffle. You know, it's like a sparkler At least, hang on, sparklers are fun. This is like a shit sparkler. It's like a shit sparkler. Literally, you light a spark. No, because that wouldn't be fun either, would it? It's like a sparkler that has. Can't see. See, I'm thinking about the corporate world, man, and it's screwing with my metaphors already. But I think Arsenal are on the way down. I think we're on the way up. And you know what? We are getting close. We're getting close to clicking. And people that have seen Ange's teams before know exactly what I'm talking about. Because when it happens, it really does happen in a big way. You just become the best team. And football's football. I was saying this to Chris this morning. Football is football. You can only compete in the league you're in and do it the way you want to do it and be strong in your convictions and not back down. And not listen to opinions. Not listen to opinions. You have to be your own man. I don't think Keith Birkinshaw would have ever looked at Twitter or Bill Nicholson, man. I mean, you know, this is like Bill Nicholson was kind of before my time, man. But he was around at Spurs as a scout, and he was still, you know, he used to appear at games still when I was going and be lauded, rightfully so. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I'm shaking my head as I'm thinking. Can you imagine Bill Nicholson or Eddie Bailey bringing in a cabaret magician to teach the Spurs players a lesson? I mean, the whole thing is absolutely nonsensical. Now, what Ange does do in his pre-match talks, he ties into what is important. What is important in life? It's friends, it's family, it's the sacrifices that you've made to get this far. Arteta makes it all about him, or all about Ali Bongo pulling a rabbit out of his crack or something like that. Ange makes it about something important because it's important to him. And if it's important to him, it's important to every footballer that wants to achieve something. That desire to, it's not just to pay back the support that you've been given. And this is the same in any endeavour where you compete at the highest level. And believe it or not, I have. You wouldn't believe it. Look at me. Some may say I'm degenerate. But I have got a few medals and I've got a trophy that's national champion and all that. And I know that you do get people that will say you can't do it. Why are you bothering? And it's the people around you that are close to you that just say, well, yeah, you can. And all of the footballers in our club, and every club really, you know, they've all been through that. They've all been playing, you know, the under 5s and under 7s, and they've loved the game. So they wouldn't be where they are without support around them. You know, there's obviously exceptions to that. You know, when people don't have that support around them, they do it on their own. But even so, when you do it on your own without family, you've got to have, you know, they've got friends, support. No one does. No man is an island, I believe is the phrase. But anyway, look, there's a bit of construction going on. Give you an update on the horrendous block of shit they're building behind me. It's going very nicely. It's only taken them like, about 5 years to do that. All guns blazing for Sunday night, man. All guns blazing. Oh, by the way, as a little side note, TV news. You know, this media company has contacted me. Spoke to them the other night. So far, so good. They seem to like me. I don't know what it's about. And to just go full circle right to the beginning of my little speak today, one guy I really enjoy. I enjoy all of Chris Cowling's guests. Jar Wobbleman, Spurs fan. He was one of the reasons I play the bass guitar. I loved his bass playing, man. But Rich Whitehead, Paralympic gold medal. You can't get any higher than that. But Ricky Norwood, man, I like it when they're asked about his projects, and he used to be a little bit way, you know, because it's all in development. So it might get to the stage where I have to be like that. It's like, oh, I can't say anything, which means, while you're saying I can't say anything, it means things are happening. So all well and good, onwards and upwards, man. 3,400 subscribers, hey, that's all right, man. I mean, I got a load in last week, and actually, it's not the way I like to grow my channel, but you're all welcome, and we're going to get back to happy times now, none of that old rubbish. As always, folks, peace and love, because it's so much easier than war and hate. Easy, isn't it? Look at me. I mean, this beard ain't hard work. It's because I couldn't be asked to shave for 3 years. You know, peace and love, low effort, and don't forget, chaps and chapesses and MBs. Come on, you Spurs!